greet you all in the wonderful and precious name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Welcome you to our first podcast as Triple R Church. It's our first time posting anything on YouTube, so we are hoping for the best. Today, I'm with my beautiful wife, Mrs. P. Mhlongo, P for praise, and I'll let you introduce yourself, babes.
Hi everyone. As you've heard, I'm Praise, Mhlongo. And yeah, I think you said it all.
Yeah, she's a bit awkward because this is our first one, so bear with us. We have been approached by a few people asking about our marriage, and we thought that it should be a priority of ours based on our convictions that we share on this platform. Everything that we have gone through, everything that God has put us through, and everything that God has shown us and taught us, every principle, every mistake, every miracle, and all of that.
Yeah.
So you gotta say yeah the whole podcast.
No, I think you summarize everything. Honestly, you summarize it so beautifully. But I think yeah, as you said.
But we have drawn up a few topics here, as we had posted on our socials, that we will be covering a few topics over a span of 3 weeks. This is the first week, and we thought that this week we should share on our backgrounds, how we met, where we met, and all of that juicy information leading up to us dating. The second week it will be from us dating,
some of the things that we learned, and some of the things that God taught us during that process of dating leading up to then marriage.
Yeah. And then on during the last week, then we will be heading into the juicy stuff, which is marriage and family and all those good stuff. So now I think you should start. Yeah, you start. You give us a background of who you are, your shenanigans, and all the things that you've been doing before I met you, and whatever. Yeah.
I mean, there's not much to me, just besides the fact that praise, as you can hear, praise, I think it kind of gives you almost like a hint of who I am. Some people at school used to think that it was my nickname for music, and it's like praise, but no, it's a name that my parents gave me based on the fact that they were grateful to have me. And I am, quote unquote, what they would call a PK, and that properly summarizes my life, whereby I wasn't really exposed to a lot of things. Good girl, was a very, very good girl. The person who likes things, style, and I think that's just what you got to see, the person that you got to see. That kind of confused you. It's like, she's a lot. She's a lot. I was a lot. I still am a lot. And yeah.
Well, I was in a PK, so thank God for that. But I was just your average boy. Every guy has the stage that they go through as a kid growing up, where you're exploring and trying to find yourself in life, doing that, trying this, trying that. Well, I'm not saying that I was doing everything out there, but
what were you doing?
That's not the question. That's not the question that you should be asking. But I mean, as much as I was busy with trying to figure out my life and everything, but I was really grounded in God's word and a relationship with God. Well, let's just get into us meeting actually. Yeah.
The person that you met and the person that I met.
Yeah, because I mean, I could definitely say that you were a PK, and the truth is, I mean, you were. Well, I didn't know that you were a PK. First of all, that came later on. I think that came later on in our friendship that you were a PK, but I didn't really mean anything to me because I wasn't really exposed to a lot of PKs and stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have an issue with that. It didn't really surprise me, but because I think it's because I didn't really know what an EPK really was or anything like that. But I knew, okay, you're a pastor's kid, okay, then I mean, cool.
It's whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's only now, later in our marriage, that now I actually see what being a PK is about and all of that. But going back to us meeting, I remember. I mean, I always tell you the story of when I first saw you and you were just the it girl. And I mean, it was freshman year at college, and the first thing I see is this girl with heels on, and I'm just like, what is going on here? Is this a fashion show or are we at school? But definitely you were that it girl at school, but I wasn't really attracted to you. I mean,
that's what you say. That's what you say.
Nah, for me it was just like whatever. Like, nah, she's definitely not someone that I would be attracted to or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, around that time, I mean, it was 2017. I wasn't really looking for a relationship because of being hurt and all of that. But I did have a desire to have something stable, like to have a wife, but I just had a lot of trust issues when it came to relationships and stuff. So you were like the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
It was just like, nah, I can't handle that. But I don't know, it's just something that happened and we clicked and we became friends, and you were literally the closest friend that I've ever had, and that for me was really scary because I really had trust issues with that because I thought that I was just, being friend zoned, and I hated that at that time. My pride was just like, nah, I'm not about to be friend zoned. But the friendship was worth it. It was worth every effort. It was worth me breaking out of that shell and that shell of, not really trusting females that much, whatever.
Yeah.
So we were friends, and I mean, we clicked and whatever, and then we dated. But what was your perspective on meeting me and that guy you met?
Oh my gosh. I would agree with the fact that you were the last person. You were like, like this is not happening. If they had to be a list that I had to put. Now, remember, I'm not shallow like that. So the looks are the last thing that's just on my mind. But when it came to the person that I saw, perhaps your personality and how you presented yourself to people. Firstly, for me, out of the first conversation that I ever had with you, you're really fussy with food. I cook. I'm like, I'm not gonna deal with someone that's like that. I don't have anything in common with you. And then you were going through this life stage, which is just like, It's just, it was like everything that a PK would not want, or a PK that's like me that would not want. It's just like I want a stable church guy that goes to church every Sunday and and Monday and Wednesday. And you were the exact opposite of that. I really never thought that you would be the person that you would be.
So what happened? What changed the mind?
I think spending time with you. I think spending time with you and getting to know you. Unfortunately, as much as you were not it, I was sort of drawn to you. So that was annoying because I'm a control freak. I need to be able to I mean, just as you saying that you had trust issues with females, I also had trust issues with males from a young age. Also just knowing that you need to keep some sort of a boundary and being able to control yourself. And that was just like the thing for me. Control is like something that I prided myself in. But when it came to you, it was difficult.
I mean, just to mention is that we were actually studying music together. So we went to every class together, and we spent a lot of time together. I think those are one of the things that really helped us to get to know each other while we were still friends, because we got to learn more about one another during that time. We were at school, and like most of the day we were together, whether we were in class, whether we were at break or whatever that we were doing.
Honestly, at some point I ran away from you. I was just like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, I think as much as we could spend the time talking about reflecting on that, and us being friends and whatever, but the truth is, it was God's will, honestly, to bring us into a space where we're going to be spending more time together. And after a really long journey of ups and downs, experiences that we went through that made our meeting more challenging and more what's the word, I don't want to say exciting, but it's like if we had not gone through all of those challenges and wouldn't have the perspectives that we had that were so relevant to each and one of us. You get what I'm saying? Like, you had your perspective on life, you had your perspective on everything. I had my own perspective on life, and I think that's one of the things that make relationships not really work, is when you get two people who have two different perspectives on life, two different backgrounds, and then whether it's marriage or it's dating or friendships, and when you guys get together, you don't really have that common perspective, common ground, and perspective is not really. I mean, the perspectives are clashing in a way, because with us, we knew where we were going or what we wanted, and because of that, we were able to agree and then move forward into the next stages of life. We were like, okay, we were friends, we're doing music, and this is what we want to do, this is the visions that we had, this is the perspectives that we have on music. Music to us wasn't just a thing that we were doing to get quick cash.
No.
Or it wasn't a thing that we were doing because of pressures or at home or anything like that. But it was a gift that we had, and we knew that this gift was, we were given the gift by God and all of that. So we'd have those conversations, we'd have those perspectives and those golden perspectives that would help us in our journey and in our friendship,
Yeah, what are those perspectives though?
I mean, like, for example, that the whole perspective on a gift is really, our gifts are from God, and it's not really a thing that we own.
Yeah.
It's not something that we just happen to be born with, but it's something that God has given us, so that it is a responsibility, and it's something that we need to achieve with those gifts or those tools. Other perspectives would be on marriage and dating. As much as I had trust issues, but we agreed on the fact that having a stable family is a necessity in our lives and the visions that we had. So though we had not reached that point where we had ambitions of wanting to create our own family, but we still agreed on the importance of a stable family, because we had come from backgrounds where we saw our families where our parents were both there and
Yeah.
all of that. And so having those influences and having those influences brought us together with the same perspectives in a way, you know. So yeah, family and marriage, I mean, even spiritually, having those perspectives.
I was shocked, if I'm being honest with you, when it came to those things, because those convictions, I think, for me, seeing them in you, that was like, okay, so there's a lot more to you than what meets the eye. As you said, I remember this one time you told me that it's really important for you want to use your gift to heal people. And that's something that I also had literally jotted down, and I knew that that's something that I wanted to embark on. So it firstly, that was a nice stable ground,
Yeah,
for the both of us.
for sure. Because I think, yeah, as we were reflecting on this, I mean, the principle in this journey, if someone were to ask, would say, okay, how do I know when I'm on this journey, which way to go, what am I looking for, and whatever. I think the first thing is friendship, and then in friendship, get the same vision. If the friendship does not produce the same vision, then that's an issue, because if that's the first stage, I mean, friendship is the first stage, and if you guys move into dating and you still don't have the same perspectives or the same vision, and you move into marriage and you still don't have the same vision, marriage is only going to expose
Those things.
Yeah, it's only going to expose those things, expose those cracks in
But
the
also
friendship.
just asking yourself, why are we doing this? Why you always asked questions, which was a lot for me back then, but it's really necessary to ask, where are we going? Where are we taking this friendship?
In the friendship stage.
Yeah. And then after that, when you are dating, okay, what are we doing? Where are we going? What are some of the things that we want to achieve together? Individually, I'm not sure. But I think when it came to us and our experiences, it was always just sticking together and knowing, okay, this is what we want to do.
Yeah, because I think having that perspective is important when you're in that friendship stage. Because, I mean, perfect example, we ended up having the same things for lunch, in a sense of we would share lunch together. We would end up going to the same places, like after school or in between lectures, we'd go to the same place. We started having our own culture as a friendship. We started seeing things the same way. We started doing the same activities and all of that. So I think bringing that, how can I put this? It's those little things in friendship that count the most in the future when it comes to marriage. I think most people are told that you guys should be friends in marriage, and you have couples who aren't really friends in marriage because they didn't
They were never friends.
They were never friends in the first place. They
That's
were just
right.
attracted to each other sexually or anything.
Yeah.
And they got married, and now they're trying to force this thing of let's be friends and whatever.
Yeah, you have to now relearn. Which
and
it's possible.
It's possible, but it's a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, it's a struggle, especially when you're in a space of. We're not talking about marriage, but anyways.
Yeah, we're rushing. That's like down the line.
That's down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, going back to the whole friendship thing, I think that was the biggest anchor that we got for our marriage, that we got from the early stages of our friendship and of us meeting before we started dating and everything. Because when we started dating, we had already agreed on a lot of things, and then we just took it to the next step, and then we agreed on, okay, let's just take it to the next step and let's see where we're going, if we're going to achieve everything that we want to achieve, because we had already planned out and given time to draw up a vision for ourselves. Okay, this is what we want to achieve in the dating stage, this is what we want to achieve with marriage. I mean, we always knew that at the end of the day, what we're looking for is a stable family. So we never really considered ourselves as a couple trying to experiment and seeing if we might break up or not. If that
It was
sense.
not an option.
Nah, it was not an option because of how we had already agreed on so much in our friendship.
Yeah.
That there were so many things that we couldn't, or we couldn't really engage in or build or pursue without having, each other to do those things or to accomplish those things.
I think some of the things that was grounding for the both of us is our callings.
Yeah.
And so now we're moving. I remember very well the one thing that you shared with me, being vulnerable, because I think it was a very vulnerable thing for you.
Which took time in the friendship.
It wasn't that long. Honestly, it wasn't that long.
But okay, I mean, yeah, maybe. Ish.
Because honestly, we were friends from March. We were friends for a month.
Beginning of the year. Yeah.
Plus minus a month and some change. So I mean, it wasn't that long. I think because we saw each other every day. It seems like, oh my gosh, it was within a lengthy span. But it really didn't take that long for us to open up to each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to that, you opened up and you told me that you have a calling in your life, and this is what God wants you to do and whatever. Now, for me, it was a big deal. It was a big deal because of the fact that I remembering the fact that I grew up in a home with parents that are called, and I'm also being told that that's probably where I'm going to end up. And I was also that PK who was sort of rebellious in a way, but not really, because for me, it was just like, I don't want to have a husband or potential husband that's going to be a minister or be called in that way because of the challenges that come with it. So when you told me, it was a surprise, but it was just like a kick in the face, like, okay, God, what are you doing? Do you remember what you told me?
I remember where we were. I think the core of it. Yeah.
It was our sort of first date.
Yeah.
And our first date was
going
church.
To church. That was the first date. We went to church. Yeah.
And after church, I think you opened up and then you told me that it was something that you were called into. It was music. I think it's something that you dived into, that you are called into music. I'm not sure about the ministering part, if that's something that you shared with me, but I remember that day going back home thinking that, okay, this is going somewhere. So because we're still in between the line of being friends and dating. So if I'm going with this, and if I'm going to end up dating you and whatever, this is not just for me or whatever, but there is purpose behind it. And it was the same day where I actually told you that I got a thing for you, I got vibes for you.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it, from my perspective, when it comes to that day or that moment, taking you to church, it was an experience because I got to see the woman that God had promised, for a very long time. But the journey leading up to meeting with you wasn't really easy. It was hard because I always knew that God had this person that He had planned for me, and I had this desire and the faith. But I was always disappointed to an extent that I was, what's the word?
Rebellious.
Yeah, rebellious, and I was really angry at God more than anything else. I was just angry that this thing doesn't work. It really doesn't work. But on that day when we went to church, I was really convinced, and I just felt like conviction that now I need to go back. I need to stop looking away and turning my back on God's will for my life. That I always knew that God had this purpose for me and whatever. So I think the atmosphere, the atmosphere that we're in, and the moment that I shared with you, being at that atmosphere at church and everything, that's when I felt a conviction that I need to sit you down and tell you that this is who I am. You know, this whole face that I'm putting, it's not really who I am.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just wanted to see how you would respond to that, because I know most people would run away and it's just like, nah, this is too much for me. So seeing how you listened and you took everything in, and me giving you the vision for the future, it's almost like I was asking you to partner with me, or asking if you're willing to partner with me in what God wants to do in my life. Because with this whole friendship and the dating and marriage, it's not just about entertainment, but it's about God's purpose at the end of the day. So if we're gonna be friends, then we need to establish this vision, or this reality that if you're next to me, then this is what you're gonna be facing, good or bad, according to God's will for my life, with this calling that He's called us into, or He has called me into. So having that conviction, I just felt like, yeah, I need to sit you down and we need to talk about this, or we need to talk about it, and let me share everything. And then from that day, I just wanted you to decide, are we still pushing this friendship? Are we moving to the next stage or not? If not, then it's okay. I mean, it's not God's will. So that was the perspective that I had in me doing that and me sharing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was scary, but I just had the faith to do it. Yeah, just had the faith to do it.
And I think it paid off. It paid off because that's how I really got convinced to see you in a new light, not as the person that you presented yourself, but as, you know, this person that perhaps God has set for me. For me, it was really frustrating because I'm a planner, an overthinker. I like to be in control, and I thought I was in control. But when you came with all of this, it honestly really frustrated me. It really messed me up. So I had to also, just as you had to go back and sit down with God, or sit yourself down, I also sort of had to go back and be like, okay, what is your will, God? Because I had ideas. God gave me a vision, but I had ideas on how I was going to now make that happen. But God had another way for that to happen. So I think, yeah,
I mean, I think one thing that I would advise anyone, or give advice to a person who's seeking for a relationship and a marriage and friendship and whatever, is find purpose in that relationship, or that marriage, or friendship, or whatever it is. Just find purpose, find God's will, find God's purpose in that, and never be ashamed to ask the question, whether you're a male or female, of where is this friendship going? Where are we going? I think life is too short for entertainment these days. I mean, life is too short, and there's a lot that I always say that dating is really harder than marriage, because marriage, you're set, and you have this how can I put it, this safety net that you know, okay, I can pour out. You're more encouraged to pour more of yourself into the marriage, into your partner in marriage, than in dating, because when you do that in dating, there's a risk that you could be pouring yourself
For
out
nothing.
into the wrong person. So it's necessary in the friendship phase of the relationship or whatever, that you find yourself in a position where you're comfortable with the person and that person is also comfortable with you, because it didn't take a long time for me to be open to you, but it was because I felt safe in the friendship. I felt safe. I felt like, okay, cool, I mean, I could share this. So having to share that vision was based on feeling like, yeah, no, I'm safe.
Yeah.
And then, in the friendship stage, just never be ashamed to ask the question, where are we going, where are we heading?
Yeah.
And if you're not safe, you're not safe.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And if it's not God's will for you to pursue that friendship or relationship or whatever, honestly, just rather not waste your time, because at the end of the day, you're going to get hurt, and then you're just going to cause issues for when God brings that real thing that he's been promising you.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think we've covered the friendship part of this podcast. I think we've achieved what we were desiring to achieve.
Yeah.
Next podcast, we will be talking about, the dating phase of our story and all of that, and reflecting back on good memories, bad memories,
some of the things that we learned.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing that we've learned. That's the whole reason why we're having this podcast or making this podcast, is because of those things that we've learned. So, final words. Any final words?
I'm excited for the next part and the next part. Those are my final words.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the first one, so if it is a bit sketchy, forgive us. Forgive us. If we've missed anything, a name, surname, if our story doesn't make sense, whatever it is, forgive us.
Or feel free to tell us anything that you would like to know, anything that we have missed or whatever. Maybe we can cover it up in another podcast or whatever.
Let us grow together. Let's grow together. Oh yeah, I mean, let's just cut and go.